I was 12 years old when this movie came out, and it was the first time I got to see one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies in the theater. And I gotta say, even at that age, when I was still obsessed with these green bastards and was very much looking forward to the movie, I was heavily disappointed. You've probably heard a great deal about how bad this one is in the past from other critics, and I don't want to necessarily parrot everything they've said, but really this is the case where the general consensus is that this movie just shouldn't exist. The basic plot has the Turtles mucking with an ancient artifact that swaps them with 4 samurai. The samurai wind up in modern New York City while the Turtles go back in time to the 19th century. April tags along because why not? They're trying to find a way back while also fighting off bad guys, which essentially are some other asshole samurai and some bad guy with a bird or something. The idea of putting the Turtles back in time is not a bad idea. As a matter of fact, both the original comic book and the cartoon series from the late 80s and early 90s often used time travel as a plot device, especially the comic book. But, that being said, what exactly is the problem with this film? Well, it's not like it has one big problem, but a lot of smaller problems. One was that the series, as it went on, it became more kid-friendly, which doesn't sound like a bad idea, but kids loved the first movie. And although it was darker and more violent than its sequels, it wasn't anything too extreme or too intense, so I never felt it needed to be toned down. I mean, I was 9 when I saw the first film. Raphael saying damn didn't exactly send me down the wrong path, you know what I mean? Another problem is the small budget. This time the turtle costumes are just awful. If you were to show the costume effects of this movie to someone who has never heard of these characters, then show them the effects of the first 2 films, they'll probably say that this was the earliest one, as the effects are a lot less sophisticated. Another issue is the lack of any familiar characters. The first movie was pretty heavily based on the comics, and the second one had sort of a hybrid feel of the comics and the cartoon, but this one isn't based on anything as far as I can tell. The human villains are uninteresting, and there's no other creatures in the film other than the turtles. Going back to it being kid-friendly, the level of violence in this movie is very strange. There's fight scenes all over the place, but they come off very slapsticky, and the turtles rarely use their weapons. That's a criticism I had with the last film, but this one is even worse, because every fight scene turns into a Stooges skit. Essentially, this one is uninteresting, bland, and cheaply made, and I can't even criticize it for existing only to sell toys, because other than the 4 turtles, there aren't any toy-worthy characters in the movie. I give it a 2 out of 10.